Hey guys, what's up? What's up? Listen, it's Thursday. It is here. We are going to have a fantastic show today. I cannot wait. We have Dr. Meléndez, who is a mental health professional, psychologist. She's amazing. We can't wait to talk to her about mental health. We want to talk about sending our kids back to school. Is it safe? Everything that we need to know. She's also a professor. So it's a win-win situation. Plus, we have Tiago Raul on the show, who is a dancer, choreographer, actor. I mean, he's a singer. I mean, wait until you guys get to know him. He's originally from Philly, Iris, as I see you watching. So what's up to Philly? Shout out to Philly, because listen, I was in Philadelphia for quite some years, and I made beautiful friends, and I think that's why it's called, the city of brotherly love. So, cannot wait to do our drink today. Since we're talking about mental health, our signature cocktail is called the Brain. That's right, the Brain. That's the beauty of cocktails. You get to create anyway. So we're gonna show you how to make it. Listen, peach snaps, Bailey's Irish cream, and some grenadine. That's all you need. This is it. So it's so easy to make. I'm going to show you how to make it right now. We have our ingredients here. We're going to start with our peach schnapps. You can do 2 ounces. You can do 4 ounces. We're going to do 4 ounces today because this week was crazy. And on your martini glass, right, it's nice and cold. Lots to talk about on our spotlight segment today. So, 4 ounces, peach snap, all right? Then you're going to take your Bailey's Irish cream, which we all know is delicious, goes great with coffee. So this, we're going to do 2 ounces. And the trick with the Bailey's is the way that we actually pour into the glass, right? So I'm gonna hold it here so you guys can kind of see, and just very slowly you just start pouring that in there. You see that? I hope you guys can see this. You see how the brain just kind of starts to form? You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, you can have fun with your cocktails. Right? So you're going to put a little bit more. You're going to put your 2 ounces. You're going to let it breathe. So that way the brain comes up. You see that? And boom. And there's more of that brain coming through. And wait until you guys get to know Fran Meléndez's brain. We're so blessed to have that brain with us today. And here we go. We finished the 2 ounces, right? And we leave that there. Now, you let that sit for a minute. Then you're going to take your grenadine and you are going to pour it. Now, I like to use a bark spoon because then you get to kind of direct a little bit where that grenadine goes and how it makes it look like blood. This is a great cocktail for Halloween. All right. So guys, look at this. It is our brain. Isn't that super, super cool? Look at that. It is a nice sweet drink. So you don't need any garnish or anything. I need to try this because it's rude if I don't. So, wow, guys, it is so, so good. It's almost like a dessert. So it is a little sweet, but it's almost like a dessert. It tastes delicious. Who would have thought? Guys, what time is this? It's like 30 more minutes, and we are going to be live with, again, Dr. Meléndez and Tiago Raul, guys. So I cannot wait to see you guys. The links are all over Facebook, Twitter, Celebrity.com, YouTube Live on Celebrity's channel. It's on our bios. Listen, you're going to find us for sure. Come join us. Also, Tiago is going to be singing and dancing, so you definitely don't want to miss it. And we're going to talk about a little bit about his experience with Cardi B and the American Music Awards. So we're super proud of him. Can't wait to get, the conversation started. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the brain. Remember again, for Halloween, you can drop an eyeball in there. You can, get festive, get creative, right? This world is so stressful that we have to do something about it, right? So salud, and we will see you guys in a minute, okay? Ooh, yeah. All right, guys. Peace out. Much love. Bye-bye. See you in a minute. Hey, how's it going? Buenas noches, mi gente, and good evening, my people. And listen, welcome back to Conciencias Con Cocktails. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today and every Thursday at 6 p.m. on Celebrity.com, Celebrity Magazine, channel on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube Live, comment. And if any questions come up during the show, by all means, let us know, and we will try answer them for you. Also, be sure to follow us on IG at Conciencias Con Cocktails. And listen, can't wait to connect there as well. So, everyone, how is your week going? I mean, I hope everybody's having a productive week and all of you are safe and yours continue to be safe. Guys, creating CO3 has been so wonderful. And I'd like to take a few seconds to give a quick and much deserved shout outs to the team who helps me create magic behind the scenes and every single week. Miss Carmen, Miss Madeline, Miss Gaia, who's doing a terrific job with her internship at Celebrity Magazine. And of course, Mr. Brian Wesley Johnson, president of Celebrity Magazine, who creates an inclusive space for us to continue having conversations which must be had week after week. So gracias, Brian, and to the team. Couldn't do this without you. Appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. This week is certainly no exception. We have a great show, but before we get to this week, I'd like to thank last week's guest, Mr. Orlando, co-founder of Street Writers NYC, which, by the way, Justin's Ride 11 was epic. We came together for Black Lives, and it was incredible. And I'm going to pause for 1 second because I feel like I hear an echo. So my director, talk to me because I feel like I keep hearing myself. This is live, guys. This is how it goes. And I just want to make sure that we get it right before I move forward, because this is live, guys. This is how it goes. And I just want to make sure that we get it right before I move forward, because live, guys. This is how it goes. And I want to make sure that we get it right. On my end, I don't think so. If Luis is watching somewhere, go on mute, baby. I don't think so. So Luis is watching somewhere. Go on mute, baby. All right. You tell me, Brian, and then and where should I start from, right? Because if people weren't able to hear me, you can't hear it now. All right, so I'm saying, should we start from the top? Because I am happy to start from the top because my people. Right. So listen, guys, our apologies for that. You know what I'm saying? Virtual technology, we love it, we hate it. Now we can't live without it. It is what it is. But buenas noches, mi gente, and good evening, my people, and welcome to Conciencias Con Cocktail with me, Javier Pedroza. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today and every Thursday at 6 p.m. on Solivity Magazine. Listen, solivity.com, Solivity Magazine channel on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter. All of that, you can find us every Thursday at 6 p.m. So we'll definitely be seeing you here. And thank you again for tuning in. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube live, comment. And if any questions come up during the show, by all means, let us know and we will try and answer them for you. Also, be sure to follow us on IG at Conciencias Con Cocktails. So listen, how's everybody week going so far? I mean, I hope everyone is having a productive week so far, and all of you know, and yours continue to be safe, you know, guys. I just feel like creating Conciencias Con Cocktail has been so wonderful, and I like to take a few seconds to give a quick and much deserved shout out to the team who helps me create magic behind the scenes every single week. Miss Carmen, Miss Madeline, Miss Gaia, who's doing a terrific job with her internship here at Solivity Magazine. And of course, Mr. Brian Johnson, president of Solivity Magazine, who creates an inclusive space for us to continue having conversations, which must be had week after week. So gracias, Brian, and gracias to the team for all of that you guys are doing. This would not be possible without each and every one of you. So un besito and thank you so much. This week is certainly no exception, guys. But before we get to this week, I'd like to thank last week's guest, Mr. Orlando Hamilton, co-founder of Street Riders NYC, which, by the way, guys, you all know that last Saturday I went to Justice Ride 11 with our pinks, right? And it was epic. I mean, we came together for Black Women Lives Matter. And all I have to say is that I learned so much about Black women's experiences from Black women's mouths. And, you know, when you hear their stories, they're really heartbreaking, you know? And I mean, the experience of the Afro population on this planet, which is inhumane, as we know, and the past and present struggles of our indigenous population around the world have to be called out. And we must all speak about these realities because that's the only way we're going to get through this. And, you know, the speakers at the rally prior to the Justice Ride 11 were incredible. Again, it was led by Black women, and Black women only spoke, and it was amazing. One of the speakers, Junie, who I am obsessed with because she is everything. And, you know, she spoke about her experience as a first-generation Haitian American, a warrior by genetics, as she says, a double Ivy League graduate, and a tech and entertainment attorney who thanked her parents for coming to the US in order to provide a better future for her and her family. But she also mentioned how she shouldn't be the exception within her community as opposed to the rule, and that really, you know, makes us all think deeply, because she's absolutely right. Another speaker, Ms. Jamie, asked us, I mean, she challenged us in such a beautiful way for those of us who want to learn. She asked us if we knew the reason why we all chanted, "Say her name," and crickets. Then she asked us if we knew who coined the term, "Say her name," and baby crickets. One person out of hundreds of people who I saw knew the answer. So for my viewers out there that I love so much and we educate ourselves week after week, here you go. Kimberly Crenshaw, who coined the term "say her name." Okay, she is the one. Kimberly Crenshaw, professor. She is incredible. Look her up. She has been fighting for forgotten women. More than 70 Black women have died at the hands of police in the past few years. Hashtag Say Her Name is a social movement that seeks to raise awareness for Black female victims of police brutality and anti-Black violence. And Say Her Name, it aims to change the public perception that victims of police brutality and anti-Black violence are predominantly male by highlighting the gender-specific ways in which Black women are disproportionately affected by fatal acts of racial injustices. And P.S., 30 years ago, Miss Kimberly Crenshaw also coined the term intersectionality. I mean, pow. Okay. And that's a word that we're using a lot today. Please get to know what that word means because it's going to be moving forward in all of our vocabularies moving forward. So again, look up Miss Kimberly Crenshaw because I'm learning each minute that I'm looking up these fabulous leaders that are teaching me. Another thing that, again, Ms. Jamie, who is also an attorney, mentioned how, we should know the names and the stories of the victims that we are seeking justice for, right? I think that sometimes we just know the names of the people who the media says these other people we need to focus on, but there's so many others that don't get the media attention, that don't get justice, right? So after the ride on Saturday, we got home, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night and, shower, of course, sleeping because, riding for 5 hours, still trying to get that shape. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on it, but I finished the ride, excuse me. But on Sunday, I woke up and I began the process and just wow. The list of Black men murdered in this country, from Emmett Lewis Till, a 14-year-old African-American boy who was lynched in Mississippi in 1955, accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store, which later on was proven that it was not the case. To Trayvon Martin, who was murdered by George Zimmerman, who followed him. He followed Trayvon and shot him. Khalif Broder, who hanged himself at 22 years old due to the prison injustice done to him. Oscar Grant, shot by police. Eric Garner, I can't breathe. George Floyd, right? We know George Floyd, but also the women. Tanisha Anderson, Alicia Christian, Megan Hockaday. As you do your research, and I think that you can probably hear it a little bit in my voice right now, is that if your heart doesn't tug at these names and these stories, like Breonna Taylor, 26-year-old African-American emergency medical technician who was fatally shot in her home. All I want to say is thank you to the ladies. Also, Diane Morales closed the rally and explained why she was running for mayor of New York City and as an Afro-Latina woman and what that means. So what I would love to say is learn their names and their stories. And I think that it will make you understand why we say Black Lives Matter. Also, Justice Ride 12 is this Saturday, and it's going to be another unforgettable ride. I've taken it up to myself to let folks know who've watched the show to come and join us. We are stronger in numbers, so the ride will start in the neighborhood where Street Riders NYC have experienced the most hostility towards the peaceful protest for Black lives. However, they will take this opportunity to also begin the Street Riders NYC Direct Action Campaign with a voter registration drive at the starting point. And, you know, many of us have witnessed the clear attempt to voter suppression and sabotage efforts with the U.S. Postal Office in relation to voting. So this week, Street Riders NYC will become one massive mailbox. Okay, and that's amazing. Okay, think outside the box, my people, because this is exactly a kind of solution that we need to an upcoming issue that is about to head our way, or is here. It's pretty much here. We're going to wear the color orange to protest these, horrible policies. The orange man in office continues to attempt and deny us, the people, our right to vote. I didn't make up the color, but I think it's very fitting. So listen, this is the first of many direct action calls to come from street riders. So again, this ride begins and ends in Brooklyn. So for more information, go to the Instagram handle at Street Riders NYC, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. So last week, we also had the pleasure of having Miss Military Tucker, founder of Bombazo Dance Company, and she hung out with us at CO3 Lounge. And it was awesome. She makes me so proud to work with Puerto Riqueño with African roots, because she was incredible. She also gifted us a book, and we are so happy and thrilled to announce our winner, because his name is, ready, drum roll, his name is Davian Alberto Medina Montalvo, who we're seeing on screen right now. Isn't this the cutest little baby jibaro we've ever seen in life? Thank you so much to his mom, who GM'd us, and the book is on its way to Davian. So felicidades. We can't wait to see Davian with the book and learning about bomba Puerto Riqueña, so we cannot wait. Thank you again to his mom for writing in. And again, guys, we'll be giving away things every now and again, so you just have to stay tuned, locked in, so you can win some stuff. So on today's show, we have a fabulous clinical professor. She is the director of the clinical mental counseling program at the College of Staten Island. Her name is Dr. Frances A. Meléndez, and we cannot wait to chat with her about mental health, about COVID, about so many things that we are going to discuss with her, because I know a lot of you guys still have questions, and I think it's fabulous to have her here. She's a Taína, Puerto Riqueña, so she'll be able to talk to us also about what it means to be Latinx and of color during this pandemic. We also have Tiago Raul, who is with us at our CO3 Lounge. And Tiago is a singer, he's a dancer, he's a choreographer, and an actor. And listen, Tiago has captivated audiences with his Latin flair and unique style on stages around the world, commercials, music videos, and television. Listen, some of his credits include America's Got Talent, World of Dance with Miss Jennifer Lopez, American Music Awards, where he danced with the fantastic Miss Cardi B. Also shows like Mira Quien Baila, which is the Latino Dancing with the Stars, if you will. But also listen, music videos, Jason Derulo, Bebe Rexha, Maluma, J Balvin, Luis Fonsi. I can go on. But we are so proud of Tiago, because we know Tiago for a minute, and I cannot wait to show you who he is, because it's so beautiful to see a young man's dream coming true, and us being here to witness this. Then our third guest is our signature cocktail called the Brain. You see this? All right, guys. Salud, un momentito. Hold on. It's like this beautiful dessert. It is sweet, but it's like a great, maybe after dinner kind. Like I said, great for Halloween because it has that brainy. But listen, We're drinking it to complement our show because we are discussing mental health. Like I said, COVID, going back to school, all of that jazz, which can make our brain want to explode. So, signature cocktail, the brain. So simple. 1.5 ounces of peach schnapps, 1.5 ounces of Bailey Irish creams, dash of grenadine, and that is it. You saw in the beginning of the show how I made it. You can always go back. It's 3 easy breezy steps. So I cannot wait to continue making these beautiful drinks for you guys, because this is some of the funnest part of the show is researching these cocktails and making sure that they align with our great guests week after week. So there are a lot of families out there, that wanted me to create an episode to answer some of these questions and discuss the concerns. So let's kick things off. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, salud, vamos a tomarnos otro poquito because I'm thirsty. So we are going to begin discussing our spotlight stories, where we discuss the latest, most relevant trending news. And today we begin with breaking news happening right here in New York City as a spotlight story number 1. In another loss for number 45, U.S. District Judge Victor Marrero ruled that the president must turn over his tax returns to New York prosecutors who are seeking his financial documents. Take a look.
This isn't the only big legal headline in the president's orbit this morning. The federal judge overseeing that Trump tax lawsuit between the president and Manhattan's DA Cy Vance. It sounds like he's tossed out that suit that was brought by President Trump. What happens next?
Right. So what I expect here to happen, Craig, and I believe it actually has just happened in the last few seconds while we've been speaking, which is for President Trump's attorneys to come forward and to ask for an emergency stay. So essentially saying, Judge, before these records are turned over, can you just stop that process for now? Because we want to appeal to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals and ask them to take a look at the judge's decision, as you said, Craig, to toss that lawsuit today. The judge clearly agreeing with the arguments by Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance, saying that, look, this is just part of the normal subpoena process, and seeing as how the Supreme Court has cleared the way from a standpoint of presidential privilege, it's time to turn over these documents. But this was anticipated, that not only would the judge rule this way, but also that the president would then appeal to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. At this point, Craig, there will be briefs filed. It's possible that this will be argued in front of 3 of the judges, perhaps then later a panel of judges. So again, the timeline holds that we've been talking about over the past several weeks since that Supreme Court decision, that essentially it's going to be perhaps a few more weeks, if not a few more months, before Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance will perhaps get a chance to look at those underlying tax documents, taking us past, if the court schedule holds that typically holds, and of course it could be expedited, taking us past Election Day, Craig.
We will keep following this story and continue reporting as the information becomes available. In other breaking news, still right here in New York federal prosecutors charged President's number 45 former advisor, Steve Bannon, along with Brian Kolfage, Andrew Badolato, and Timothy Shea, with defrauding donors of hundreds of thousands of dollars as part of a fundraising campaign aimed at supporting number 45's border wall. This is extremely serious. It's such a serious matter because Bannon's history with 45, right? And Bannon was once an influential voice inside the White House as number 45's chief strategist until he was ousted by number 45 in August of 2017. Bannon has helped run number 45's 2016 presidential campaign alongside Kellyanne Conway and was credited as a driving force behind Trump's populist appeal, nationalist ideology, and controversial policies. All I have to say is what my grandmother taught and my mother taught me. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres, which translates into tell me who you're hanging out with and I'll tell you who you are. Our next spotlight story highlights a true lady, the first lady, Michelle Obama, asked voters to vote for Joe Biden like our lives depend on it, and says number 45 is the wrong president for our country during her speech at the DNC. On the first night of the Democratic National Convention, former First Lady Michelle Obama delivered an amazing, I have to say, speech accusing him of being in over his head. And he's incapable of carrying out the duties of the office. Take a look at this clip.
So let me be as honest and clear as I possibly can. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is. Now, I understand that my message won't be heard by some people. We live in a nation that is deeply divided, and I am a Black woman speaking at the Democratic Convention. But enough of you know me by now. You know that I tell you exactly what I'm feeling. You know I hate politics. But you also know that I care about this nation. You know how much I care about all of our children. So if you take one thing from my words tonight, it is this. If you think things cannot possibly get worse, trust me, they can and they will if we don't make a change in this election. If we have any hope of ending this chaos, we have got to vote for Joe Biden like our lives depend on it.
Michelle Obama, we missed you, oh my God, so much. And you're absolutely right. It is what it is. And last night, also former President Barack Obama delivered a speech criticizing the job of 45. Listen, saying his brother, Joe Biden, has the character and the political experience to do this. So definitely looking forward to tonight's DNC, where Senator Booker, Pete Buttigieg, and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms will be speaking tonight. So definitely tune in to watch out and see what's happening with the country. Just saying. Also, our last story for our spotlight goes to Ms. Sharon Stone, who actually took to Instagram over the weekend to reveal that her younger sister, Kelly Stone, is in the hospital with COVID-19. Take a look.
Hi, I want to talk to you about compassionate integrity versus politics and greed. As many of you know, I posted about my sister being in the hospital in a COVID room and that she has lupus and she's fighting for her life. I didn't let you know that her husband, Bruce, is also in a COVID room in the same ward fighting for his life, and that they stayed at home as long as they could. I want to tell you a little bit about why. In Montana, where they live, you can't get tested unless you're symptomatic, and then you don't get your test results for 5 days. Also, the people that they came in contact with, like my mother, who's had 2 heart attacks, 5 stints and a pacemaker in the last 5 months, couldn't get a test because she wasn't symptomatic, even though she could have been the asymptomatic contact that gave them COVID. The nurses in the hospital that are taking care of them can't get tested because they don't have tests to test them with. Those nurses are risking their lives and cannot get tested. The stress, the strain, the exhaustion that's happening in that hospital is met with the conflict around the courthouse, where people are carrying guns and saying that it's their freedom not to have to wear a mask. This is the situation in Montana where the governor, Steve Bullock, is not returning my calls, where the health department, where I continuously call, is hanging up on me. This is the state of affairs in the middle of our country, where you, the people in the middle of our country, are at great risk of dying from COVID. They keep saying that the risks are so small and that you might not die and that it'll be fine. But I'm telling you what's going on with my family. My grandmother died of COVID, and my godmother died of COVID. My sister and her husband are fighting for their lives, and my sister is not doing well. They couldn't give her the remdesivir until she went to the hospital because that's the law there. And there was no one to help them while they were at home alone, because there are no kind of nurses that can come to the house there because there's no test for them. When they say there are tests for everyone, they're lying. When they say there are tests even for the nurses in the hospitals, they're lying. People are dying and fighting for their lives because there's nothing but lies. And because the people at the governor's houses, the people at the health departments are simply so overwhelmed that they're not answering the phones, they're hanging up, and they're not returning calls. This is the state that we're in. The only thing that's going to change this is if you vote. And if you vote for Biden and if you vote for Kamala Harris. And the reason that's going to happen is because with women in power, we will fight for our families. We will fight for people to live, and we will fight for people to get tested. Because the only countries that are doing well with COVID are the ones that have women in leadership. Please vote, and please, whatever you do, don't vote for a killer. Thank you.
We pray for the Stone family, and we hope that Kelly Stone and her husband recover quickly. All right, guys, that wraps up our spotlight stories for today. And you know what, whether you've personally been impacted by COVID-19, or you know someone who has, or you know someone who has children who are going back to school, or even if you're personally struggling with the idea of returning to work and school, the anxiety is real, right? So today I thought it was important to bring a fierce human being who's also a doctor. She's also a professor. And, I wanted to bring her onto the show to discuss mental health and the impact of COVID-19. And you know what? We're just going to bring her in. Say hello to Dr. Frances Meléndez. Hola, Frances. We're gonna good. Hi.
How are you? I want to say thank you, Javier, for having me on. This is such an awesome platform. I can't even thank you enough for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, guys, I'm going to give you a little back of Ms. Meléndez, because she is, again, a clinical professor, director of the Clinical Mental Counseling Program at the College of Staten Island. She's a licensed clinical psychologist in the state of New York, and she has extensive experience working with adults and children infected with and affected by HIV and AIDS, in particular women over 50. Her work with women over 50 has been the focus of a New York Times article, a documentary, and several media interviews. Dr. Meléndez, her interests, and we'll talk about all this, they're mostly focused, but they're not limited to disparities in mental health services, depression, women, substance abuse, trauma, empowerment. I'm looking at, our YouTube, and your people love you. I have Janet Meléndez, who's like, Dr. Meléndez, Uv is the best. Angela Diaz, go Dr. Meléndez. We have so many folks. And then we also saw another one. Where do you go? Oh, Willie from Philly, Williams Briggs, who is like saying hi and how you are the best. Listen, I know that you're committing to introducing long and short-term therapy to at-risk populations that have traditionally, refused mental health services. again, thank you so much for being with us. Because again, I know that you're so busy, but you were like the perfect person to speak to, because I'm getting calls and DMs, and families are worrying about their children going back to school. The fact that you're also a Latina, we get to talk a little bit about how COVID impacts people of color, disproportionately who are not. So gracias, for being here with us.
Gracias.
So I want to say, before we dive into mental health and COVID, I know that you have been, your story is beautiful. Felicidades on your, 44th circle around the moon with your husband this year.
Yeah, it'll be 44 years.
44 years.
And I still like him. That's important. I love somebody and not like them, and I like him a lot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're going to talk offline and so, I want to tell me, where did you grow up? How did you become to Staten Island now?
So I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm always a Brooklyn girl. I grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, Gowanus projects in downtown Brooklyn. And I think people have a misconception of what projects are, but for me, it was an amazing time. It was an opportunity for working class families to have an apartment. And so a lot of my friends that I grew up with in the projects are my best friends still. My friend Shasha, I hope she's listening, who is still my friend. I can go on, and my family goes back. So it's a good memory. I moved to Staten Island at 19 when I went to school. I fell in love with the trees. Staten Island is a borough that doesn't look like the other boroughs in the 70s, but as much as I love being here, I'm also aware of our fame to claim as an island, dealing with racism and discrimination. It's been a wake-up call, because growing up in Brooklyn, in the projects, there were whites, there were blacks, there were Latinos, it was a family. You sat on the benches, chinchando with the ladies, and the gossip and the drums and the rhythm and the music, piraguas, those things that brought us together as a community, right? As a community, right? So to tell you that, I was a headhunter before I became a psychologist.
Okay.
In Wall Street. And I went back to school when I adopted 3 boys, and figured I would stay home with my daughter, who is now she's going to be 40, and give these boys the attention. So they really were the push for me to go back to school. And I did an internship and realized in a home for girls, and realized that they were all women of color. And realized that there was no one that looked like me to do this work. And that in order to do this work, I needed a degree. I needed the title to be able to do this work. And so I went back to school in my 40s to get my PhD, my doctorate in clinical psychology. And it's been an amazing run to do a profession that you love. Each job that you describe were doors that opened. And I say God puts, he opens doors, you just got to go through them and, give it a shot. So it's been an amazing experience. And I have to say, I love what I do.
And that's a blessing in itself, to be able to get up every day and love what you do and know that you're creating change, right? Also, Staten Island, we know the demographic around Staten Island. And so I'm sure that your classes, I would like to be a little black fly on the wall, just taking everything in, because I'm sure is a very interesting day to day. So what I want to get into, again, because of the parents that have been, contacting me, I wanted to know what you advise, to parents who worry about the mental effects of children who have been required to social distance and quarantine, for the current extended period of time.
I mean, this is not easy. We're really in uncharted waters, right? How do we parent? How do we stay home? How do we work from home? Do we have a job? Can we do the job? Do we have food on the table? Do we protect our children from knowing what's happening? Do we have a conversation with our children? And so these are all the things that you're juggling, how to be a good parent in a really difficult time, and also how do you do this when you're feeling anxiety, depression, sadness, uncertainty, right? So I think part of it is depending on where your child is to have a conversation about what is happening and ask their opinion. So what do you think about this? And finding things to do, as difficult it is for you to find things to do with your child. Can you have a play date with someone that is been practicing social distancing? Create Zoom games. There's a lot of information out there now for parents to utilize. But it's work. This is not easy. It's not, we always talk about, if I could work from home. And now you realize, oh my God, I don't want to work from home. I hate it, right? And how do you work from home? Clean the house. So, think about all the hats that a woman wears, a parent wears.
Right.
You still got to clean the house. You got to cook. You got to work. And you got to now be a teacher.
Absolutely.
Right? So what does that look like? What's the stress level for parents? The other question I imagine is the anxiety in that they're talking about schools opening up.
Right.
So I have to go to work because I have to put food on the table, right? I have no choice because really school for a lot of parents is a place for their kids to be while they work.
Right.
Because they can't afford a babysitter.
Right.
So what's the dilemma now? How do I do this? Do I send my kid to school? Are they going to be safe? What happens if my kid gets sick? How do I handle this? It is so complicated that there is no simple answer, right?
And especially with us Latinos that we love, being so family oriented. We almost live with our, we take care of our grandparents normally in our homes until they part the earth. So when you have a little one and an older person in the house, that again just creates another struggle for them. And I want to know, would you advise differ for parents who have children who are on the spectrum and require regular social interaction, like as part of their therapy?
It's so unique being a parent of a child on the spectrum. Socioeconomic status has a lot to do also. So I want you to think there's been a lot of articles and reports of parents that are well off and their children on the spectrum, and the children have still regressed. So imagine what that's like for a parent that doesn't have the economic support, right? The family to be able to do or even have a computer to be able to do the on-screen work with a child on the spectrum. And children on the spectrum need stimulation. So you're finding a lot of children that regress. And so you're struggling with, I need to send them to school, but that's a problem because they're also at high risk. Right? Because that's the other piece. Absolutely. They have a lot of medical conditions that are going to really put them in a dangerous place. Again, this is uncharted. I can't even imagine the anxiety that these parents are feeling, the fear, the need for their children to have this, but at the same time, the fear of getting them back.
Right. And do you feel like, in your opinion, we know this is just, you as your own person, because you're a grandmother, which I cannot believe, because when you're like, I went back to school at 40, I was like, so you just became a doctor like a year ago? Like...
Yeah, that's it. I'm 41.
Okay, exactly. But I want to know, what is your opinion? Do you think children should return to classrooms? Again, I know that you have tus nietecitas, your granddaughter, your grandchildren, what do you think about that?
It is. I struggle with that when I have a conversation with my daughter about that, who's made the choice of not sending my grandson to school, because kids need socialization. That's where they learn the interaction, the connection, especially in a world where kids are so in the computer playing, all these games, Fortnite, this, where they lose that interaction, that eye contact, how to communicate with people. So there's a need for them to go back to school, but against then there's the fear, what if? Because, unfortunately, we've had an administration that's given a lot of misinformation, a lot of crazy misinformation that I think that if they would have been on point, we would have been in a much, much better place.
Right.
And so kids are going to go back, and I think it's going to be a personal choice for parents. And I know they have the hybrid, how is that going to work? I just had this conversation like 2 hours ago with my daughter. She's like, Mom, I don't know what should I do? Because I know he needs the socialization. And I go, well, you need to see, as a parent, I would say, go check out the setup of the school. You go and you say, I want to see how you're going to ensure safety.
That's amazing. That's a great advice.
Right. What are the protocols that you have in place? Do you have a filtration system? How do you, how do kids, because you're asking a kid to wear a mask, right?
Right.
You and I know that when I go in the store for a little while, I'm like, I keep it on, but it's suffocating.
Right.
Right. So how are you going to ensure that my child is going to maintain safety? Right. So it is complicated. I don't know if it's going to work sending kids back to school, because you're seeing this. You saw it in Chapel Hill. They went to school and they just closed it down again.
Right.
We at CUNY, we're not going back. And Staten Island, we're not going back this semester. Everything will be remote at this point because we can't ensure, it's a very expensive process to ensure safety. And there's no money out there, right, to do this, right? So,
right. Wow. And so mechanisms, right? We all have our own mechanisms and how to deal with things. Can we talk about mechanisms that our viewers can take away for those of us?
Coping mechanisms?
Coping mechanism, yeah. For those of us who are, experiencing anxiety and all of the uncertainties, again, like you mentioned, unemployment, COVID, in the classroom, what are great coping mechanisms?
It'd be great if you just say what's great, right? But I think that part of it is we have to know ourselves, right? And I think that depression is manifested, anxiety manifested in different ways. So for some people, it's irritability, nasty, they're angry, they're not sleeping. So you're finding now people are sleeping less. What does that look like is to really pay attention to your body, because your body talks to you, right? They always say the body holds the score. So what is it that your body is telling you, and are you listening? And so finding time for self, and I think that's really important, because I think in this staying at home where I find that I'm working more. I'm answering emails at 11:30, 24/7. And I said, I need to stop. I need to shut it down. I'm not answering emails on the weekend, and I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to force myself. I put that salsa music blasting and, dancing through the house, because those things make me feel good. And so what is it to find, what is it that you find good? Because you're going to find an increase in alcoholism, domestic violence, suicidality. These things are on the rise, right? Because people are on lockdown. I just told my husband yesterday, I went out for something. I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I feel like I'm on house arrest and I'm just getting a break. And I'm a psychologist.
Right.
Because, so it gets to you. I know my coping mechanisms, but they don't always work.
Right.
So the other thing is we need to know when to ask for help. Because the other thing, people of color, we don't talk our stuff. You keep your stuff in private, right? And so we don't ask for help. And so that's the other thing, is to learn to ask for help. And New York State has a lot of free stuff online to find someone to talk to. And a lot of them are hotlines. They have Talkspace. The New York City has a bunch of things. NAMI is a great source for online groups, resources available. They're there. But you just need to, I always say they don't come to you. You got to go to them.
Right, right.
And it's also, knowing that you deserve it. Because I think often we feel, we have these labels of being a great father, a great mother, your roles are defined by what you do for other. So I'll say quickly, in my work with women, one of the things I ask is, tell me the first, the 5 most important people in your life. I want you to know that very rare are they on that top 5.
Wow.
Because we, as Latinos in particular, right, we associate self-love with egotistical, right? Yo no soy orgullosa. No, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to tell them, I always use the analogy of the airplane, right? When they tell you oxygen, you put it on you first before you can save anyone else.
Correct.
Right? And how do you do that in your day-to-day life? So I think the biggest thing is for our people to be able to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
And also make the effort to do Zoom, with your family. I know we're social, we can't be hugging, but then let's do a Zoom session. Let's do, a cocktail hour. Let's do a joke night. Some people are playing cards. Let's do whatever it is to connect even for a little while.
Right.
Right.
I love those advices, Dr. Meléndez. You're so right. All of it, and that's why I love that you're here, because you can speak on it from your own experience as a grandmother, as a mother, as a doctor, a psychologist. I think that is so necessary for us to have the resources. And sometimes, like you say, we don't do research. It's almost like we were taught to just do as we as said, and now we have to, because we are in uncharted waters, we have to do the research. We have to do it day in and day out.
And so I just want to add, so part of it also, our communities, you're seeing the disparities in our communities, right? And that is trickles down, whether it's mental health services, medical services, and that's why you see the increase in COVID. They just did a test that 2/3 of the Bronx has the antibodies.
Wow.
What?
Whoa.
What does that say?
Wow.
News
to me, Ms. the Doctor.
I just got that this afternoon, and I was like, that speaks volumes. It speaks volume to what is happening in our communities, right? So we need people like you with these platforms to get people to hear, to listen, with music, with salsa, with the bomba, but with a message underlying that's powerful, right? That people can hear.
Thank you so much for that. And listen, we can have you here. Oh my God, I feel like we're definitely going to invite you back. That's a must, because there's so many more questions to ask you. And again, you're so busy again. So thank you so much for taking the time. Listen, I want you to stick around, because next we have on our CO3 lounge, otro puertorriqueño, hijo de la isla. His name is Mr. Tiago Raul. Cannot wait for you guys to get to know him as as I've gotten to see him, like I said in the intro, like watching him grow has been such a pleasure. Collaborating with him has been such a pleasure. And we cannot wait for him to come in and do what he needs to do. So listen, refill your cocktails, do what you need to do, get comfortable, because when we come back, we are going to be hanging out with Tiago Raul. And right now we're going to leave you on a commercial break, and we're going to show you what he's about. So enjoy. Y salud. Y nos vemos ahora. We'll see each other right now. Thank you, Dr. Meléndez.
Hey everybody, I'm Francesca Maxime, and want to really invite you into a new conversation, which might feel a little bit uncomfortable to start. Inside Out, with Natasha and Francesca, unpacking racism. Where did we get these ideas? Why are we in this white body supremacist society? What is it to be an embodied anti-racist? I'm with Dr. Natasha Stovall. Natasha, explain what you see in your therapy sessions and why you want to do this show.
I want to do this show, Francesca, because so many white people in my practice are asking, why is it that the world that we live in is so racist, but I don't feel racist? I'm not a racist. And even though I think that's a very sincere question, I think all white people now need to begin from a place of the world that we create is racist, whether we mean it to be or not. So how do we understand and start to change the ways that we have learned, whether it's something we're aware of learning, if anyone who taught us was aware that that's what they were teaching us, how can we help them stop practicing racism even when they don't feel racist? So that's where we're starting from, and we're going to go from there. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's what therapy is all about, and that's what therapists are good at.
All right, Natasha, thank you. And everybody who wants to tune in, it's pretty much a show that's going to be about white-bodied folks and inquiries there. And certainly we'll be taking your questions, but anybody can tune in. It's going to be on Facebook Live Wednesdays at noon. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Hello, everyone. Bienvenidos. And please help me welcome Mr. Tiago Raul to CO3 Lounge. Hola. How are you, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm over here in Los Angeles, California, just enjoying the humidity that we just got over here. But I'm in air conditioning right now, so.
Amazing. What are you drinking out in LA with this heat?
Currently, I am drinking a tequila with guava, a splash of spritzer on top of it with some lemons, actually. Salud.
Oh my gosh, salud. That sounds amazing. I'm like, next drink, next episode, yes, guava. I'm all about guayaba. You know what I mean? So listen, Tiago, let's talk a little bit before we get into your career and your amazingness and everything that you're doing. Let's talk a little bit about, where are you from? Raíces, eres puertorriqueño, and I believe you were raised in Philly, right?
Yeah, so I'm Puerto Rican. My family's from Puerto Rico, originally from Cagua and from Juanadilla. And I was raised in Philadelphia since I was little. I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, but raised in Philadelphia at 8 months. And so I was old enough to move to California. But I am Puerto Rican, de raíz y de todo.
I love it. So where did you start dancing? How did you said to yourself, I'm a dancer, because that's born within us. How did you decide to do that?
Well, I started since I was like first grade in elementary, and I started in the Puerto Rican parades. I was in a Puerto Rican parade every year from first grade until high school. So every year I was out there doing bomba y plena, I was doing salsa, I was doing merengue, I was doing whatever they threw at me when I was at the Puerto Rican parade, that's what I was doing. I descalzo en la calle on Benjamin Franklin Parkway. But that's basically where I started, and then from there I went from elementary to after-school programs. I joined community groups, and then from community groups I started my own team, which we started traveling with. And I got an opportunity to play in Puerto Rico, actually, in Mayagüez. And from there, I just got the opportunity to go on television and it was like a role, like a steam role.
And here you are. And again, I as I told everyone, you have worked with some A-listers. And again, I remember, so you guys give me a little background story. I know Raul Tiago, when he was about 17 years old, so like 2 or 3 years ago. I wasn't 17, but however, I was dancing, competing salsa like a madman. And, Raul will come at 17 and just be like, this boy who told me, I can't wait to one day dance with you. And to see him today and the amazing stages, the amazing shows, again, for us, it brings me so much pride to see you. Porque te veo como un hermanito. You're like a little brother, So to me, I see you in that way, and I cannot be any more proud of yourself. And now you're also singing. So on top of this great dancer, we have an amazing singer who actually, you know what, director, let's just go and show what I'm talking about with Mr. Tiago.
Hey guys, so this is an original song called Dale, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And it's unreleased, so you guys are probably the first ones listening. So here we go.
Donde lo quieres, underneath the moon, I can be with you wherever you want it. Drop tops to the morning, casi te mueres. Looking in my eyes as I hold your thighs and run like they wanted. Motions make me haunted. I know you're the type of guy, I know you're the type of guy tells you he loves you. You know it ain't true, you know it ain't true, no, no. Eso es lo que quieres, so tómate lo voy a dar. I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it. Touch and connect anywhere you want. Toma todo lo que soy. En una noche de pasión, I'm gonna give it to you anywhere. Baby, te lo voy a dar, te lo voy a dar, 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 dar. Donde no quieres, on the road, we can rendezvous wherever you want it. That's yours to the morning. Casi se mueres. Acting like a fool, sweating on the floor, Bella, if you want to. I can make it wet for you. I know that type of guy. I know your type of guy. Tells you he loves you. You know it ain't true. You know it ain't true. No, no. Eso es lo que quieres. So tómate lo voy a dar. I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it. Touch and connect anywhere you want. Toma todo lo que soy. En una noche de pasión, I'm gonna give it to you anywhere. Baby, you and te lo voy a dar, 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 dar.
Thank you guys.
Bravo! That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. You know, the pride. Como un hermano. I'm telling you, it's like a big brother. So proud. Your voice is mantequilla. It's like butter. So listen. Now you're dancing. This, which by the way, guys, was an exclusive because this is not out yet. And we got a preview of what he's working on now. But now COVID, take us to COVID and how has the dancing and the singing, now what's happening in your world?
Oh, wow. So I actually was in India before this. I was in India for 8.5 months on a singing contract. And we were coming from Dubai and we were flying back into India. I mean, I'm going on the ship back into India and because I was on a cruise. So it was insane. We didn't know, we knew that we were taking precautions, but we weren't sure how serious the precautions were because they were happening up in New Delhi and they haven't worked their way down to Mumbai and we were still there. And out of nowhere, they're just like, there's gonna be no more guests. There's gonna be no more shows. There's gonna be, everything's on standstill. So I was literally on the ship for 32 days, just in el gimnasio, checking on my friends, being active. And it was crazy. And a lot of it, and I had the rest of my year just like planned out, just like every other dancer, every other artist, every other entertainer. And no one's out of the loop for the COVID situation because every single entertainer in this community, in this world, has lost their jobs, have lost gigs that they were on contract for. There's so many Vegas shows that are shutting down, which is super sad because they're amazing shows with amazing singers and dancers. There's stage people that can't get their business back up. And for me, like, it's super sad because I know a lot of these people that are in the industry, and I've been here in LA for 7 years now from Philadelphia, and the energy that I got when I flew back on the emergency flight from India to Los Angeles, it felt like the Los Angeles, the energy was sucked out. Like it didn't feel the same. It felt like a shadow of what it was. And I think little by little, just everybody staying active. And I've been teaching free classes on my IG since I got here. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something that that I love to do. I want to teach. I want to share my energy. I want to make sure that people are enjoying their time and not charging for it just because I know that there's a lot of people that are struggling. And I'm just like, I'm in a better position than some people, and I know that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm teaching class. It's free. Join me. I'm just giving you all of my energy, even though it's weird talking to yourself for an hour on IG, right. But it's great because like you see the comments, and since I saved them on my IG Live, by the way, on my IGTV, everyone, like friends of mine hit me up like 2 days later, like, oh my God, I just took your class. It was amazing. And I was like, you just took my class? And they're like, yeah, like we've been taking a class like every day, like after, because we work, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. So just hearing that from people has been really amazing. And
I'm sure. And a little bird told me that you're not only giving classes, but you're also taking some classes.
Yes, I am. I'm actually taking some acting courses with this company called HAPA, the Hollywood Academy of Performing Arts, and is actually here in Los Angeles, California. But they have a huge international alumni, because a lot of the students are from Bolivia, from Chile, are from Colombia, from Puerto Rico, are from New York, everywhere, like Russia. One of my scene partners is from Russia, and it's just been amazing just to learn and just sit here. I literally sit in my living room for like 3 to 4 hours just studying and going through, because if you're not doing something, you need to start doing something now. You need to learn something new. You need to make sure that if you're learning something new, maybe bring in a friend that isn't doing so well and be like, hey, what I'm doing, do you want to do this with me? Or like include people, because sometimes you never know if that changes their day, it changes their drive in what's happening right now.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about, because I got in all my DMs as soon as we posted, your flyer with Miss Cardi B at the American Music Awards. Tell us what that was like, because I know you also choreographed some of this performance, right?
Yeah, so I didn't know who I was dancing for, because this is a lot of times how it works.
Of course.
I was in Vegas. I was doing a show in Vegas, and I got text messages, email. I got messages through my Instagram, through my Facebook, and I'm like, did I do something wrong? Is something happening that I didn't know about? And they're like, hey, we want to see if you're able to perform for the American Music Awards. And I'm like, I almost wasn't able to do it because I was on a job. But I was like, this is my schedule. This is what's happening right now. If you can make it happen, I know that it's hard sometimes, but it ended up working out, even though I was driving. For those who don't know, I was literally driving from Vegas after my show. I would finish my show at 9 o'clock, go home, eat, drive all the way back to LA from Vegas, stay at my friend's house. Yes, 4.5 hours sometimes. Stay at my friend's house, get up in the morning, go rehearse with Cardi, and I would be there till 2 p.m. and then I would be leaving. And she's like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going to work, girl. I gotta go to Vegas.
That's right. See, Latinos, we are not afraid of working. I mean, we hustle. What? Like our life depending on it. And that's why you see the fruit of your labor. Again, I'm so proud. Director, let's bring Miss Dr. Meléndez back, because I want her to meet Tiago. And also, Tiago, tell us your social media handles before we go, because we have a little bit of a surprise for you guys. He's going to be giving us a class, a Latin fusion class, right after we wrap up. So we can't wait for that, because listen, his dance in Mira Quien Baila, like I said, which is the Latino Dancing with the Stars. He has, he grew in that show so beautifully. He started as a dancer and left singing and choreographing for beautiful orgullos puertorriqueños like Miss Diana La Torres, who was Miss Universe. So that was an incredible, and again, we're so proud. So we want people to know where to find you both. So Raul, I want to know what your social media handles are so we can follow you. And Ms. Meléndez, I want you to tell us your social medias too, because we need to follow you everywhere we go. And if you could also provide us I know you mentioned NAMI, which is an amazing resource for people who are looking for structures that are already in place that are going to help us. So let's start with Mr. Tiago, and you can tell us your social media and how do we find your virtual classes.
Perfect. So I'm currently using my IG live and on my IG. So it's Tiago, Tiago, Raul, Raul, and then a little underscore. And that's my IG. I'm always on there. I'm always responding. If you have questions, ask me, DM me, and I'm more than happy to answer the questions.
Awesome. Dr. Meléndez.
Dr.Meléndez _ Women's Center. And that's Instagram.
Perfect. And if some of our viewers want to contact, they can DM you and ask you any questions. And again, I know you mentioned NAMI as a resource. Anything else that
and I would go to the New York State COVID hotline because they have a list of free resources for teletherapy, and they're free.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Again, both of you. Gracias. Oh my God.
Thank you.
This show was so necessary. I feel like I'm getting goosebumps. This show was so necessary. I love highlighting the work of two fierce guerreros. Again, thank you for using your brains, your voices, your dance moves, everything, to not only entertain folks and help folks, but, create social change, which is what I think that we're all trying to do here. So again, thank you so much. And Tiago for hanging out with us at CO3 Lounge. We can't wait to dance with you. And again, to everybody who's watching, gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you for the comments. It was awesome. The love for Dr. Meléndez and Tiago is insane. You guys are loved by many of your peers and many of your friends I see just by looking at the comments. So thank you for you guys for tuning in and, again, commenting and all of that jazz. To our little winner, Mr. Davian, who is Davian, who is winning his Bomba book, and we cannot wait. Thank you again, Military from Bombazo Dance Company. Again, listen, last week I want to say that I said about Street Riders NYC, and I'm going to say it again this week because I hope to see you guys this Saturday here in New York City. Get your bike, get your City Bike. City Bike has let Street Riders NYC know that when you rent a bike from 4 to 10, it's free of charge because they do stand with Black Lives Matter. And that's why I'm digging City Bike right now. That is a great way to get around. New York is absolutely beautiful. So it's going to be amazing. Join us next week where we'll be joined by Cristina Carrica Haley and Kenneth Romero for our Carrica and Romero segment where we examine and analyze our monthly political news. And guys, there's a lot. So we definitely needed to create one show every month dedicated to what's happening at least till November 2020, right? And make sure that you guys are registered to vote. Make sure that you guys are filling out those census. If you have any questions about the census, look it up online because it is so easy to do it. It takes 10 minutes. And I think my friend Diane Morales said it best, 10 minutes, 10 questions, 10 years. That is literally the power of the census. So we all need to fill them out, get our mamas and our grannies and everybody who is in your houses, involved, because this is the only way that we're going to create change. And then next week, we're going to have un salsero that is like one of my idols from like ever, Mr. Jesus Aponte, who's an amazing world salsa champion. And again, can't wait to have you guys. So again, guys, wear a mask, por favor. Thank you to everyone. And remember to stay curious, be gorgeous y amable. All right, guys. Next, we have Tiago bailando. Así que salud. Have a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you here next week. Salud y adiós. Nos vemos más tarde.
All right, guys. So here it is. We're gonna be doing a little bit of Latin fusion. If you don't know what Latin fusion is, it's all right. It's just a bit of everything. All the street stuff, bachata, merengue, salsa, cha-cha. We have jazz funk, we have hip hop. I just like to use a lot of the little elements and put them into my choreographies, and I like to use alternate music so that way when I'm dancing to salsa music all the time, even though, como soy puertorriqueño, me encanta la música salsa, pero I love to have a different vibe all the time for all my classes so that we don't get stuck in the same thing all the time. But it still has all the Latin flair that you need. So I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna give you my back, apologies, but that way you guys can see and you guys can learn. I'm gonna break it down, and every time I just do it with the music, I'm gonna face you guys and do it with the music, all right? So, to start off, we're starting off with a basic with the left foot. I'm going 1, 2, 3, I'm going back, 5, 6, 7. One more time. 1, 2, 3, I'm going back, 5, 6, 7. Now from here, I'm gonna step to the side, side basic. I'm going left, 2, 3, I'm going right, 6, 7. One more time. Left, 2, 3, I'm going right, 6, 7. So let's put that together, right? So front and then side. 5, 6, 7, go front. 2, 3, I'm going back. 6, 7, going side. 2, 3, I'm going side. 6, 7. Now, what I want to do is I want to add something a little bit fun. Here we go. So as I did my basics to the side, now I'm going, my left foot is crossing over. So I'm going left, right, left. This timing goes like this. I'm going 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, going 1, 2, 3, and then we're going 5, 6, 7, 8. So just in case if you didn't catch that, I went 1, 2, 3. Now I'm stepping out with my right foot. I'm going right to cross. With this cross, I'm gonna face you, and then I'm gonna turn my back around again to then bring this left foot out to 1, 2, 3 to go 5, 6, 7. Just that part. 5, 6, 7. I'm going 1, 2, 3. Going 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Stop. Yeah. Let's put that together from the top. Here we go. 5, 6, 7. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Left 2, 3. Right 6, 7. Going 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, basic, 5, 6, 7. Yeah? Let's actually try that with the music. And we're dancing to a song called Love Fool, and it's by Two Colors, and it's super dope. It's an old song that was sampled. Love me, say that you love me, woo me. But they made a little bit of a different vibe. There we go. I'm gonna take you guys through the combo. Nice. If you like that, we're gonna keep going a little bit, okay? So it feels a little difficult, but it's just getting it in your body. Once you get in your body, you get into the ground, and you don't have to do it exactly like me. All you have to do is just have fun and add your own flair. You're gonna feel crazy before you look great. Trust me, I feel crazy all the time, and you guys have me sweating already. So last part. So we went ta, ta, ta. We went 5, 6, 7, 8, right? We went 1, 2, 3. We went 5, 6, 7. Now from here, I'm gonna go into a basic to the front, right? Basic to the back, to then go right, turn here, to go step together. So slowly, we went side to side, and then we're going 1, 2, 3. We go 5, 6, 7, just regular basic. Then we're gonna go right turn, push off that left together to go back right, 6, 7. Now the only difference right now that I'm doing is that when I step back, I'm stepping back with my right, I'm stepping forward to my left, and I'm tapping my right. It's kind of a slide up. So I'm sliding up. So, otra vez. So we went 1, 2, 3. We went 5, 6, 7. Basic front. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. You know what? Cut that basic out. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to go 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Cut that basic out. We don't need it right now. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Directly into this right turn. 1, 2, 3, going back, 5, step, on that slider. Now, fun part. We're gonna go in and out. So I just want you to throw your hands up like you're in the club, just partying. You're going in, out, and then you're gonna go step, step. And I'm stepping over to my right. So when I go in and out, right, I'm taking my foot over to my right side. I'm going left, and I'm going left. So I'm hitting both walls. I'm going up, up. Now I'm gonna do the same exact thing again. I'm gonna go in, out. Only difference now is that I'm gonna add a little bit of body, body. I love a good body in the dance. Woof. You don't have any body in there? Se prendió el sabor, okay? So, wah, wah. Whatever you want, you go wah, wah, you go wah, wah, you go wah, wah, whatever you want to wah, wah with. So again, in and out. In and out. I'm left, left. I'm going in and out. I'm going ta, ta. Yeah? So let's put that together from the top. 6, 7, going. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 to the side. 2, 3 to the right. 6, 7, going 1, 2, 3. Nice. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. Into the right turn, going 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. In, out, step, step, in, out, booty, booty. Yeah? Let's do that with music. Here we go. Wow. So every time I do with music, I'm going to face you guys. So that I can feel connected, alright? Here we go. Here we go. It moves. So you have to make sure that you stay right under yourself. Because if you open up too far out of your zone, what's going to happen is that it's going to take longer to get there and you're going to miss steps. So as long as you keep it controlled and under yourself and just soft knees so that way you're not hitting the ground so hard, but you're in the ground, yeah? So I'm going to add the last part. So we went in and out. We went top, top, top. We went in and out. We went booty, booty. Now here we're going to do a basic. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go 5, 6, 7. And we're going to go into a borracho. If you don't know what a borracho is, I'm going to say it in English, is a drunken step, basically. And you've done it, I'm pretty sure you've done it a couple of times. So it's basically you stumbling over yourself. And I'm starting with my left foot going over my right. So if I go left, I stumble back right, I stumble back left, I cross over right, I stumble back left, I stumble back right, and then I cross left to open up. And that's your borracho step. Your timing wise, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's going to feel a little faster because we're using all the counts. Just in case when we're dancing our salsa, we don't use the 4 and the 8 because those are the points that we breathe in. So if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are your moments that you're in the ground, you're breathing, you're taking in the choreography. But for this borracho, it's going to be a little faster because you're using the whole count. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're using 1 through 8, okay? So, one more time. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now what I want to add here is just a little bit more booty. So I'm going ba, ba, right? You got a homie chula on the side, you're going ba, ba, and then you're going to go da, da. Yeah, a little shoulder. So I'm rolling my butt back, and then here I'm going to just throw my left shoulder back, back. And as I'm going, I'm doing a slight body roll. So I'm going to face you guys. I'm going to go boom, boom, yeah? So I'm going da, da, boom, boom, da, da, boom, boom, yeah? So let's try that from the top, connect it, and then we do it with music. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, side 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, going 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Side basic, straight into the right turn. 1, 2, 3 with a slide up. Keep, go in, out, around, around, in, out, booty, booty, basic step. Borracho, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba, ba, boom, boom. Yeah? I know it seems like a lot, but don't worry. We're doing this live. You guys are enjoying this. After we finish the live, you guys can easily go back and rewind and watch it over and over again, but I'm so happy to be here right now with you guys teaching this. And I'm sweating, so good thing this is the last part. Here we go. Let's play the music and let's go for it. And boom, here we go. Amazing, guys. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you guys for having me here today. Javier, oh, this was amazing. I'm dying right now. I'm sweating and I wore the wrong shoes to dance in today. But you know, you gotta serve the package deal. Thank you guys.
Solivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Solivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Solivity Magazine shows by going to solivity.com now.